Hey everybody, Laura Learns here. Just tuning in. I'm going to be working on some cards today and thought I'd show you some of the process of what I'm doing. I don't normally like to have a messy workspace, but I find when I'm doing cards, sometimes that's what ends up happening because I need so many different supplies and I don't want all of my cards to be the same. So I'm just going to give you a little tour of the table and some of the supplies I have out, and then I'll start making a few cards. I've got the Big Shot and the Cricket here, which I may be using at some point in time. I've gotten a container here with a bunch of the Big Shot dies that I use. I roll them through that machine and it cuts them out for me, and then I can use them on my cards. So you'll see some of these later today. I've got some interesting papers and laces and buttons that I can use. Here's some things I've already cut out on the Big Shot that I need to actually use. I've got some ribbon that I can use here, more ribbon. I've got some really cool like lacy mesh stuff here, some twine, more ribbons. Then I've got a bunch of paper pre-cut, some into half-size sheets and some into the full-size card so that it's kind of ready to go. Some I've already imprinted an image onto that I can use as well. I've got a bunch of paper pre-cut here in my stickies. I've got a few words pre-made already, and I'm gonna have to do some more over here. I've got some lacy little doodahs. I've got lots of little bejeweled embellishments like this. I've got more bejeweled elements over here, some punches if I need to be putting ribbons through, a few different types of stickers that I might try to incorporate as well. Then over here I've got even more little doodahs. I've got some gems and keys. I've got all kinds of interesting buttons and other gems and things going on here. Up here I've got a few finished cards that you can see. And today I hope to make a few more. Got some wicked shadow going on in there, but you get the idea. All right, here I am, and I'm all set up for doing some cards. I'll walk you through the first one, and then I'll probably fast forward you through a few and then show you what I've got done at the end. So I do have a bunch of cards that are sort of ready to go. So I do this sometime, you know, when I'm sitting in front of the TV or things like that. And so I've got them in different directions. I can fold this way or I can do it this way, and I have in different colors as well. Then I have some half sheets, some of which I already have designs on. I'm not sure, I'll show you a few, see if you can see that there's patterns on some of these papers already. This one is, not sure how well you can make those out on the screen, but those are just like an impression texture plate that I've got for the Big Shot that I've been using. And then I have a bunch of just half sheets that would go right on the top of a card. So I could place this right on top if I want a different color, and then when you open it up it's yellow. I can trim this a little bit if I want to see the yellow on the outside. And then I also have a bunch of designer papers sort of pre-cut into card sizes as well that I thought were really pretty and would make nice cards. And so I've been using those right now as my base, and then kind of decorating them up with some ribbon, some brads, going around the edges with a little bit of ink to make it look a little bit more rusty. So I thought we'd do one of those to get us started. I'm gonna take something pretty neutral like this that opens up, and then what shall I pick today? Oh, let's go with a bird. Okay, we'll go with something like this. I could put that right on the top if I want to. I think I will trim a little bit. I don't want to cut the bird's tail off. I can see a little bit of white there. Trim a little bit off there. Then I've got a nice little white border going around it. Yeah, nice. Okay. Then earlier I had taken out this espresso ink. This is from way back when I was in Stampin' Up. Ooh, look at that. Just go around the edges a bit with some brown. I would go in further, but really I'm not gonna be able to see it on my card anyway. Close that back up. I'm gonna take a little bit of gold ink. And go around that as well. So then you can hopefully see a little bit of that. I'll do a blow up later so you'll be able to see it better. Then this is a distressing tool. It just has a blade inside here that cuts this and just shreds the paper a little bit. Most of you won't have a tool like that, so you can actually just take a pair of scissors, open it up. It does the same thing. You've got to be careful. You'll rip it a little more than you intend, but that's okay because it's meant to look distressed. You can also use sandpaper to go over these things. Sometimes doing the corner really distressed is nice. Oh, it kind of looks funky with the extra big rips. I'm surprised this pair of scissors is actually cutting through this paper though. Must be sharper than I realized, so careful with your scissors. Then I'm going to take one of these corners and I'm just going to fold it, give it a little bit of wrinkly, distressed edge a bit more. Do something like that. Then get my tape. I'm gonna go all the way around when I'm doing a card because you don't want this falling off. In scrapbooking page, you've got a plastic cover over it. Here you don't. I'm gonna put this slightly on an angle. This corner, I feel like I want it to be a little more texturized too. Ooh, take my gold ink and just go right over that paper like that. Oh, get some on this front paper so it kind of blends in. Oh, that's good. I'm liking that. Now, something I can try is I've got these little frames here. So I could try to frame this bird if it fits. But it's gonna go off and then it won't fit in a card. Let's see. I don't know if I want to do that on this one. It might not be quite big enough. Oh, actually, that's not bad. Ooh, I like that. This one, the square one, seems to fit like that. Now, I don't want this white, so again, get my ink out. Get my gold out. Now, I feel like I want something else to make this pop a bit, so I'm gonna see if I have some sort of a, I got a burgundy, an eggplant, I think I'm gonna try this burgundy. There was something on it. Oh, this is dry as all get out. This is what I need to do. I need to go back through my ink pads and find out what's still working even. Also got a bit in there, but obviously I need to re-ink some of these. Yeah, this isn't working very good either. It's got a little bit, but not. Well, it must have some because I got it on my fingers. So one thing with using ink like that is it gets on your fingers. Okay, I like that. Now, I feel like I want it popped up, but if I do that, I'm gonna see the pop-ups underneath. I really don't have a way of popping that up that's clear. So So I'm going to use the Creative Memories repositionable tape because it works awesome for things that have holes in, like just like this. Love it. Oh yeah, so good. Like that. Okay, and then I'm going to take, oh, maybe I'll take the purple on the bottom there. That's not purple, that's brown. Whoops. Well, now I've got brown on the bottom. Jeepers. Okay. Mash some more purple in there. I'm going to put a little gem down here somewhere. I have been going with purple on this one, so I think I put a couple of purple gems. I'm going to put one right there, and I've got a smaller one right there. There's a couple little just dots, and nope, that looks stupido. I don't think I need it there. I think I'm going to put the two there. What do you guys think about that one? I like it. So it just gives you a little bit of the idea of the process that I'm going through. All right, I'm just speeding things up here so that you don't have to watch for too long. I'm going to make a few more cards for you over time. This one I'm going to use brighter colors and go for a birthday theme. I'm using some punch outs that I've already done on my Big Shot ahead of time. I bought this really cool diamond imprint and did it in a number of different colors. And now I'm just staggering them on black so it really pops nice and bright. You can see I don't necessarily always know what I'm doing at the moment, but you play, you try and figure it out, and eventually you come up with something you like, or you start over. Right now I'm just trimming off the edges because I went over the tops of the card. Trying to figure out where I'm going to put my sentiment now. I make a mistake coming up here, but I figured I might as well show you the mistakes because that's what happens. My paper was getting too dirty and had a lot of sticky stuff on it, so when I put my white paper on there, it got all mucked up and I had to start over. Go into that other room because I've got a sink in there, so I washed some of the ink off my hands, got a new piece of paper, started over with a new piece of white, and now I'm figuring out where I want that sentiment to go. Again, I've got these tags already punched out from my Big Shot and some happy birthdays. Right now what I'm doing is putting 2 happy birthdays on there so that it looks like there's a little bit of a shadow. Clean up a few things so I can start on my next card. Again, I'm going to go with something bright. I'm showing you here that when you use something like the Big Shot, you get the background stamp sometimes as well as the cutout. I'm going to use both in this case. I'm going to use some regular Scotch tape to tape the candles to the back of my card. Then I'm going to put the whole thing, oh yeah, I went looking for Scotch tape here because I didn't have it handy on my table. And then again, I'm just going to cut off any extra tape that I've got, put that on my card. I've got a nice and bright card here. This is great for kids. I love how the colors pop through the candles that are there. I think I'll have to put some photos at the end because I realize you can't really see the final product too well in the videos here. Next, I think I'm going to try something with texture. You can't really see the texture on this card, but I love it because it reminds me a lot of some of the art projects that I do with plaster. What I'm doing here is I'm just taking an ink pad and I'm rubbing it over top of that texture and trying to figure out how else I want to get that texture to pop without it looking too weird. I've started with a really bright blue. Didn't know where I was going to go with this. I ended up putting black on it and then using some paper towel to blend, and I'm roughing up the edges again decided I want to go for a little bit more of a masculine feeling on this card. Would be good for a boy or a dad. Ripped the corner off of this one, blackened up the edges with the ink pad. Then I was trying to figure out what kind of base I wanted it to go on. Tried gray, brown, like the steel gray a little bit better. Roughed up the edges on that too, and also added a little bit of ink. Just helps things blend in a bit better when you've got ink on both sheets. I even rubbed the ink where I had tore the page. Looks like I had to go wash my hands again. Now, I really couldn't figure out what I wanted to put on this. I did go with Happy Birthday in the end. Again, went with a shadow effect. Put 2 Happy Birthdays layered on top of each other. This one has a gold underneath and then a black on top just to make it pop a little bit. I didn't center this one. I wanted it a little bit off center because I really wanted to feature that abstract art in the background. This one, I didn't really know what to do with this. I have an entire set of cards that are sort of pre-made from Stampin' Up. That's what the green stripy material is in the background. So I just ripped a normal piece of paper. Thought I'll just take a few things that I've already got and make something a little bit simpler. Not everybody likes something that's so complicated or has so many different things on it. Went with some black writing on this one. Just says love you with a few little hearts. Again, had to trim a little bit off so that it would fit properly. And found a butterfly I had punched out already from the Big Shot. Decided I wanted to make it look like it would fly, so I just put a little pop-up dot right in the middle. Bent the wings a bit, so hopefully the butterfly doesn't fall off, but I thought that would look pretty cute. Next, I'm experimenting with some Japanese paper that I got. It was many, many years ago. My good friend Nick Fry that I taught with at Katimavik went to Toronto and went to this Asian papery store, and he brought me back an entire package of beautiful papers, most of which got used over the course of the last 20 years, but I've just recently purchased some more, and I wanted to play with them and try layering. Now, the only thing is that the packages they came in are just a little thinner than my standard card, so I really do have to layer them because otherwise I've got just a square little image, which would work for some, but I'm trying to rip and match and get different textures kind of showing through here. And I really like this. I'm using a pink ink to go along the frayed edges and rip things up a little bit. I really find this card very pretty. The problem is that most of the items I punched out on the Big Shot already don't really match in color. So what I'm going to have to do is take some of the papers and see if the Big Shot will cut through these finer materials. I'm not sure if it will, so that's going to be a good experiment. I'm using the repositionable ink for some of the items that have holes because I can just wipe with my hand that extra ink off afterwards, so that works out really nicely. I'm trying to do a little bit more layering here because I've already ripped up a bunch of the papers and I want to see what I can do. I still have a bunch of ribbon and twine that I want to try using as well. Oh, ran out of adhesive already. Had to pick up my layers because it wasn't doing what I wanted on the bottom, so I unattached my glue and stuck another piece of paper underneath there. I've done some ripping on the bottom of this one as well so that you can see some layers coming through. Looks like my husband maybe popped in to get some laundry while I was doing this. Don't think I even noticed him. So I keep looking at this card because I can't quite figure out what I need to do to get it to look the way that I want. Again, trying to find some words that'll match. I'm not super happy, but I think it'll work. Oh, must be talking about something here. Not sure what now, but... Oh, I know what I was talking about. I remember what I was talking about. While we're looking at these cards, I'll just tell you, I'm not too worried about my ink pads getting messed up with their colors because I'm not using them as much for stamping anymore. If you want a yellow pad to be yellow though, you definitely don't brush your edges the way that I've been doing in these photos These are all pretty old ink pads, and I'm mostly using them for mixed media and distressing, so that's okay with me. Anyway, I hope you like my cards. If you have any questions, please comment. And if you'd like to make some sometime, let me know. I'd love to hang out. Bye for now.